So this GIF has been going viral, and I think it's one of the best GIFs I've ever seen. Everyone loves to talk about why my generation is so bad at dating and why everyone's alone, especially those who aren't actually dating themselves, just rage bait it into content. But no one ever talks about what it feels like as someone who's in the trenches currently dating. I haven't given up yet, what that actually feels like. And why is it that a jester actually represents that feeling? So there's two types of dating that you can be doing right now. You can either be online or offline, and they're very different. And we're trending more and more online as a society. But I think we should start with offline, the old school approaching in a bar or some shit. And to be honest, I do think this is the move. But I also think it's not as simple as some of these boomers think it is. Like, oh, just go up to the pretty girl in the coffee shop or at the gym. Something a lot of older people don't realize is that we live in a low trust society right now. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's ever been lower. So that means that everyone assumes the worst intentions in everyone else. Meaning, if you're going to start a random interaction with a stranger, the assumption that you're going to have to break is that you are not a serial killer. For example, last week I'm at the bar with my friend. We're talking to these two girls that are from Canada. Good conversation. It's going well. Then they wanted to go to a new spot. So one of them runs to the bathroom, and we're still talking to the friend at a booth right in front of the exit. So it takes her like 20 minutes to come back from the bathroom. And I didn't say anything out loud, but in my head, I was like,
Is this girl taking a shit?
you know what I mean? But it turns out that she couldn't find us after she had came out of the bathroom because this is a pretty big bar and there's a lot of people there. So she started calling her friend. Her friend wasn't picking up because, she was talking to us. So this girl finally comes back. She's like on the verge of tears, talking about, oh my God, I thought you kidnapped her. Like I thought I was about to call the cops. And
What?
it's just like, what? Like we were just having a great time. But then you remember the type of shit that you see on Twitter and you see on the news every single day, and it makes sense. But it sucks because I'll tell you why it sucks. Because you have to start off with this assumption that you're like a creep on like some Epstein shit, right? And I feel like, I don't know, I just think it would be nice. I mean, I think it would be easier to approach strangers if trust was the default, right? And you talk to older people and it seems like it used to be. But like I said, I understand why it's not. And there's always been creeps, but now we see them on our phones 24/7. So it's like you think that everyone's a creep if you're spending too much time on your phone. And then you combine that with the fact that there are real life creeps going up to these girls, and it's like, no shit, they're going to be on the defensive. And you have to lock in as a jester to prove them wrong. I'm sorry, I just love the word jester. And that every
Jester
year on
Maxi.
Google Trends, it's getting used more and more because it's like such an old word. But seriously, it creates this weird thing where it's like I don't know, man. Like even if a girl is looking at me, I'm still kind of tripping about going up to her and saying what's good, and it's because of this. And like the worst part is that the guys who are actually creepy, they're not gonna stop being creepy. You know what I mean? They're still gonna go up and approach every single girl and make them uncomfortable. Like I've met people that are like this, so it's like a compounding effect because the only guys approaching girls now are the creepy ones because the regular dudes are not trying to be creepy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to be honest, like I've always been so ass at making that first move, and I think this is a big part of it. Like once the conversation starts, I'm always good, but that first move, man, it's like I just feel like such a weirdo doing it every time. And this is, I mean, I know a lot of people feel like this. There's more. I don't know. I feel like this is a more fixable problem. But what is really bad about this is that dating apps, they don't have any of this friction, right? So sliding into Instagram DMs does not require this. So I can
Right.
fire off a bunch of terrible, goofy ass one liners, no problem. And that's part of the problem. And actually brings me to my next point. It's like, how do we end up this lonely as a generation when we have access to all these layups of technology that is dating apps? And this is where this image really starts making sense. Like once we get to the online part of things today, and I got to be careful with this one, but in order to understand the jester, what you need to understand is what dating apps are actually doing to men and to women. It's given everyone access to options that previously did not exist, right?
Yeah.
So that means it's inflating expectations. Back in the day, you already know, like you had your little village and that was it. Like the girl had to pick between farmer 1 and farmer 2. But now with social media, with dating apps, any girl, doesn't matter if she's from the absolute sticks, she is now comparing Farmer One and Farmer Two with like a famous rapper that's in her DMs.
Nah, I
This girl I went to high
swear.
school.
Oh, I swear to God, bro. It's wild because like I feel like this competition as a man had like it took place back then, but it's even more so like now because man, right when you get out of high school and even when you in high school, like you're battling for these women, these girls' attention, and like you're going against like niggas that own a business that are like electricians, athletes, college athletes. Like, man, you know how hard that is, nigga? Like, that shit is just terrible, bro. Like, nigga, I remember I was talking, this girl I was talking to, she told me that Colin Sexton was trying to get at her. Yes, that Colin Sexton. You know how fucking crazy that is, nigga? Like, that shit, bro. Man, it's crazy out here, man. It really is some tough ass shit, bro. There was a girl I was talking to one time before too, that asked the nigga before me. That nigga played on the fucking Minnesota Twins. Like, mind you, I was working at FedEx. You know how hard? Like, I was like, the fuck, the twin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit. You know, this dating shit is just it's really a competition, yo.
With made a big deal about hooking up with a boogie, which was crazy to me. Even when I was like 18, I was like, wow, how does this regular girl who goes to my high school, like, how do you cross paths with a boogie? And this was like prime a boogie too, by the way. I'm talking like my shit had just
Yep.
came out. Here's the thing though, the problem with this is like, even for these girls, the guys that are on Instagram who use success, who use fame to find girls online, like obviously they're not looking for a wife, but it doesn't matter
Yeah,
because
they
now
looking
it's
for
like
some shit to
everyone
hit.
gets pooled together, and in comes the jester who's now competing with a boogie. I mean, back in the day I would have mogged the farmers, but it's like I don't think I can mog a boogie with what I'm working with right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen what a girl's dating app experience is like. Let's just say it's a different one. Like within minutes of making a profile, a girl
Yes.
can have an actual army of men to compete. Like even if she doesn't use dating apps, Instagram has
That's
basically
the crazy
become a
part
dating app,
about
so
it.
her DMs on there will be flooded.
But there's one thing that I will say to guys to give y'all more, you know, put y'all in better spirits. Like, yeah, these women have a lot, like insane amount, like unfathomable amount of options on the dating apps. But I want you to understand that to where they have to where they have more options, we have better options. And it's like it's a very quantity versus a quality type of thing because you got to understand that women they dictate who they lay down with, who they have intimate relationships with. Men, we dictate who we take seriously, who we eventually marry, who we make our girlfriends. You know what I'm trying to say? So when I say that we have better options, it's more so like we have a smaller pool of women to, sift through. But if you're the type of nigga that is looking to get into a relationship with, since we have a smaller pool, we can vet out the women that are relationship type and type that you just, hook up with. You feel what I'm trying to say? If that's what you're trying to do. Women, on the other hand, they have all these options of men where, keeping it band with you, 95% of them are just trying to crack. That's just what it is. A lot of these niggas are just trying to hit, and probably half of that 95% is gonna continuously keep talking to her afterward. The other half is just gonna be like they're gonna hit and that they will never speak to her again. So that's what I'm saying, that they have more options but less good options. We have less options, but we have better options. Is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like it's a good and bad thing, but at the same time, that's just the balance of it is dating as a man versus a woman. Um, I just imagine how difficult it is as a woman to really know that every guy that you come across that you try to take seriously, just try, try to talk to, you meet, he just wants to crack. And it's better to have that mindset than to just think that, oh, this guy might be boyfriend material. When in reality, he's most likely not. That's why I notice and I understand why women are a lot more standoffish, a lot more hesitant when it comes to talking to another man. It's because they had so many like run-ins with a nigga that they thought, they was really attracted to, or they thought that, he was a good dude, and then eventually he just was showing signs that he just wanted to crack, or after he did crack, he just left to be. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's why I understand when women are very standoffish, very like uneasy when it comes to initially talking to them, because you gotta understand that like in a way it is kind of predatory, because it's like, yo, you just want to take my goods and dip, like, nigga, that's some crazy shit. You feel what I'm trying to say? And that's just sadly what it is.
And these dating apps, they feel like a job interview for that reason. It's like trying to get a
Yeah.
job, but there's 1,000 applicants also applying. It's like just like
Yep.
LinkedIn, bro. Like when you apply for a job on LinkedIn, you're not gonna get it. You press
Yeah.
apply, like, I know my resume is not hitting enough for this, but you do it anyway. It's like, this is a shit feeling. And in order
Right.
to stick out in front of the 999 likes and messages, like, your profile does a lot of the talking, right? So you need to
It's
really
got to
spend
be on
time on that,
point.
but it's like you also need to be like a comedian, dude. You have to be like cracking jokes and shit. And like in the past, sometimes I would really cook up some good ones, and it's not easy to do. It's like it's not easy to be funny on Hinge, you know what I mean? But you got to
Yeah.
be a comedian out here just to get into the door. Like, gone are the days where you could just be like, hey, and
Yeah.
look, there are worse things in the world.
That's why I've said it before in videos, that the best way, if you trying to shoot like on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, is once you become mutuals with her, do not shoot that shot immediately. Let that shit marinate. And the reason I'm saying let it marinate is because you gotta understand, like, as you post, you're showing a little bit. Like, you're showing a preview of who you are as a man. You get what I'm trying to say? So as you let it marinate, as be here mutual for a little while, and y'all have, small communication here where you sliding up or her sliding up on something that y'all both mutually interested in, or something that you find funny, you want to, what I'm saying, say, she gets an idea of the type of person you are. You know what I'm trying to say? She sees, your profile. She's like, oh yeah, I know him. Been following for a couple years. He does this, is this. She can name a couple things about you. When you automatically shoot, once you get the follow back, she don't know nothing about you, and that just shows that, oh, he really just trying to get at me. Play cool, my nigga. Be calm. Keep it mad, like, laid back, my nigga. Be nonchalant. Remember, she's a person at the end of the day. Be cool with her. Yeah, she look good, but keep it cool. You know what I'm saying? Spark up a little conversation here and there. And then after a while, once you find the right opportunity, shoot the shot. And if it go in, great. If it don't, that's up to you how you want to go from forward from that. But if you've been mutuals for her for a minute, you was cool with her, man, do the method. Mute story method, you ain't never gotta see that shorty ever again. I'm just saying, mute story never goes wrong, man. At all. Every time I miss a shot, but I've been, cool with her for a minute. Mute story method. She's out of sight, out of mind. Never even think about her, see her again. And she always ruin my shit, but she will never know that. Don't tell nobody, twin.
But what this reinforces is this idea that meeting someone is a performance. You're performing. And it's just goofy, man. Like, even when it works, it's goofy. And then when it doesn't work, it's humiliating. Like, if you look at this image, it's like, what does a clown do? Like, a clown historically hates himself, makes themself the joke all the time because, their self-worth doesn't exist. And
Yeah.
that's why this picture goes crazy. It's like, why do you think the girl in this picture is a queen? The queen has all the options. So the confidence, the self-worth is high, which, by the way, that's not a bad thing that girls have confidence and self-worth. Like I don't think that's bad. I'm just saying it can have the opposite impact on
Right.
dudes. And like I don't blame women for this. Can you imagine every time you open up your phone there was like 1,000 girls trying to get your number, like trying to get your attention. You had female rappers in your DMs. Be like, yo, Ice Spice just
Yeah.
double texted me. She wants to link up.
That's the
How
reality of
would
athletes.
that make you feel?
In reality of me. I'm fucking up, bro. I'm playing around, bro.
Inflate your ego like crazy, I would be moving around like DiCaprio, bro. I know that would mess with my head. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of girls right now. And I think what's bad is that the reverse effect is happening on dudes. There was a Vogue article that went super viral a few months ago. It was called like having a boyfriend is embarrassing now or something like that. Constant attention gives you leverage, right? This is just like facts.
Yeah.
And it makes settling with one person seem embarrassing, which is nuts. But I'm not gonna even go down that hole right now. And like I'm not angry about this. I think approaching this with anger is the wrong thing. But I think we need to like observe the impact that this technology is having on us. You know what I mean? Like there's only so many jobs that you can apply for and get rejected from. There's only like it's the same kind of loophole of like pick me, pick me, pick me, and it's interesting. I don't know. I'm genuinely interested in it. Like with all these apps, shouldn't there be more relationships? You would think there
You
would
would
be,
think
right? If
so.
everyone's using dating apps, we would have more relationships, but that's not
Any of y'all
true.
use
You have a
dating
few
apps?
reasons
I
that they
don't.
don't actually work, but I think the main one, at least the one that I've noticed, is like intentions are usually different. Like the majority of dudes fiending on these apps, popping mega boosts and shit, are not looking for a wife most of the time when you're in that mindset. Like, let's be real. I
Yeah.
don't think our brains as dudes were built to handle this novelty. Like, if I wanted to, I could hit up more girls on these apps than my dad has ever in his entire life in like 10 minutes. Give me literally 5 minutes and a mega boost. But the problem is, like, the novelty is addicting in itself. And that's why I really try to avoid these apps. Like, it clearly lights up a part of my brain that isn't like long term relationship
Yeah.
vibes, if you get what I'm saying, right? Where she might actually be looking for a partner, for a husband. And obviously, this is a huge generalization, and you run into exceptions both ways. But I do think that's a huge reason that these apps and online dating don't actually work. And it feels like it's just
Right.
creating like a bigger disconnect instead of creating connections. It's like it's another thing where you're constantly comparing. You know what I mean?
And that's something that I'm, working towards learning more. And the question of, how where do you go? How do you find, somebody you could be in a long-term relationship with? And the best like method I found personally is stop focusing on that. Stop focusing on the opposite gender. Stop focusing on dating in general and really just focus on yourself and you as an individual, whether it be man or woman. Focus on yourself. And I promise you, once you are able to get the woman or men, topic out of your head and live life and go places because you want to enjoy them or you want to enjoy them with your loved ones, you are going to have a higher chance, a probability of finding somebody for you because you're searching for something that is not it's supposed to happen naturally. It's supposed to stumble upon you. You're not supposed to be in search of it. You're supposed to align yourself in that right paradigm to where you find somebody that is like you and to so you can build with. You get what I'm trying to say? Looking for something, you're inevitably pushing love away. Become love. Love yourself, love your life, love the art of improving yourself, and love will eventually find its way towards you. You get what I'm trying to say? And I learned this from reading the Bible, and talking to people that have been in, long-term relationships or are in long-term relationships and marriages, you know what I'm saying? And that's the best advice that I learned from them. And it gets hard as a man, primarily because we're very, image based. Like we see all these beautiful women on social media, and it's like I would like if I could, I'd be like King Solomon. I would wife all of you. But that's the thing a lot of guys forget that King Solomon's greed for lust and having, affection for all these women is what, you know, tore him down. And, it gets difficult at times, but it's good to understand that women, you gotta see them as a bunch of paintings, artwork. When you're able to look at the artwork without wanting to steal the painting and take it for yourself, it makes it much easier to appreciate the museum that you're in. It makes it a better experience to when you're walking through the art gallery. You got to see dating just like that. It's easier, it's better to admire the woman from afar, and especially if they're not showing any type of interest, any type of attention to you, why would I why would I push up on it? You know what I'm saying? I tried. I could tell she wasn't fucking with it. I'm gonna leave her alone. She's still pretty, but she just not for me. You know what I'm trying to say? That's one thing I had to learn. Make yourself the most beautiful garden. Make yourself the most beautiful garden that you could possibly become. And even if, no, let me rephrase that. When you're searching for love, you search for butterflies. The best way to catch butterflies is to not chase after them, to not run with the net and try to swing your hardest, swing the fastest, run after them as quick as you can. No. The best way to catch a butterfly is by building a beautiful garden. Make a beautiful garden full of all the flowers and the daisies and the roses that you can imagine. And eventually the butterflies will come to the garden. But even if there's no butterflies that come to your garden, just know that you are still left with a beautiful garden to take care of and to be proud of. That's what I told myself. And that's the best way to see dating, especially now.
Like there's always going to be something wrong with somebody. Nobody is
Yeah.
perfect. And the early stages of dating, especially right now, like even that first date, the second date, it's like you feel like you're trying to keep up that false image of perfection for as long as possible, even though no one is perfect. And this is where this whole red flag bullshit starts getting thrown around. I swear one of the biggest reasons dating is so shit right now is because everything has become a red flag. Like certain red flags are valid. You know, if she's going to meet up with her guy friends at midnight every night, throw a flag on the play there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If she
Challenge that shit.
talks like she's, 6 years old as a grown woman and she has like a bunch of like little kid shit in her room, maybe throw a flag on the play there. And I like, this is from my experience. Like I can see it from a girl's perspective too. It's like if bro punches a hole in the wall every single time that his parlay doesn't hit, you're probably good to throw a flag on the play there. You know what I mean? But everything is a red flag now, which is a huge problem because let's say a girl meets a guy, it's like, damn, he's nice, he's smart, he's funny. It's like, but he listens to, this music or he still plays video games. And I'm honestly guilty of this too. Like, there's been times where a girl would say some shit. I'm like, oof, like, I kind of didn't like that.
Yeah.
Which is normal, but like back in the day, red flags existed because of your past experiences, right? But now they're also coming from other random
Like
people's
surface level
experiences
shit. Yep.
on the internet. And this is one of the reasons, I mean, standards have been raised because of this. Like, another thing that some boomers don't understand is like the standards for being a man have increased. Like, I feel like you have to be you have to be fit, you have to be socially aware, ambitious in one way or another. These are like basic things that I think back in the day you could just kind of not be and still have success dating, which is like whatever. I mean, you should be those things anyway, like for your own sake. Here's the thing: there's always going to be someone that has more status than you, is better looking than you, or you know, richer than you, barking up the same tree that you're trying to bark up. And this whole black pill thing, for those of you who don't know, like this idea that there's nothing you can do about certain things, like if you don't have either fame or money, or you're like not a 6'6" Chad, you're just shot these days. That's like a tough pill to swallow, because there is truth to that. Like if you are good looking, if you are rich, you will have an advantage dating today. Like, I mean, who could argue about that? Like, this isn't like a new thing. Like, read a history book. But for me, a tougher pill to swallow was realizing, like, all right, that might be true. But something else that's true is that there's people out there who have less than me objectively, whether that's like with looks, just social skills, whatever. Their circumstances are not as good as mine, but they're still out there making it work. They're still out there going nuts, dude. Like, I've seen it over and over. So especially now when it's like a lot of dudes feel rejected by the world and feel like they just have no choice but to give up. I mean, it's everyone loves to talk about the male loneliness epidemic, right? It's like a buzzword at this point. And I'm totally going to get called turbo blue pilled for this take, but I don't care.
And now you've had the invasion of the normies. Like there's this guy, Paulie Walnuts. He's not all bad, but
He's turbo blue pill.
Because it's like reality. People forget that.
I'm not gonna lie. I understand how bad black pill is to the male population, but these niggas have the funniest fucking like lingo ever, bro. What the fuck is turbo blue pill? Like, yo, what the fuck does that even mean? Or I seen a video of clavicular, and like he was at like some type of party, and like he was saying like I don't want to gesture max for these bitches right now. Like, what the fuck is like, what does that even mean? Like, yo, I promise you, if you just want to have a laugh, just go look up a fucking black pill video, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and just listen to their lingo. Their lingo is the funniest shit ever, bro. Like, it is honestly hilarious, yo. That's like they came up with the shit Mog when that he mogs me. Like, what the fuck? They got some funny ass lingo, yo. Like they got it with that. I know it's terrible for men and for the dating scene, but that lingo is funny as hell. You have to be like a miserable ass nigga to not find it hilarious.
As many lonely women as men. And I think some dudes have false expectations of the women that they should be dating. It goes both ways. And instead of adjusting those expectations and putting in effort for a girl who in reality would date you, it's like it's easier to retreat to the comfortable goon cave. You know what I mean? Like, this is something cave. I never see talked about. That's a choice being made there. You're making that choice, which is fine, but then you can't complain about, the male loneliness epidemic. It's like you low-key like being alone. So, I mean, look, everyone's situation is different. But if you think about what dating requires, I've been in a few relationships, some more serious than others. If you think about what they require: discomfort, patience, being okay with doing shit that you don't want to do. You have to put in effort. You gotta buy shit, gifts. You got Valentine's, birthday,
he low-key spazzing.
Christmas. You're buying all kinds of gifts and shit. It's like it's not instant gratification. Like, these are all things that the internet has made our tolerance for as a whole way lower, which is bad. Like, I saw a tweet once. It was like, yeah, like, I want a girlfriend, but only one who never FaceTimes me, only wants to hang out when my boys can't chill, and is cool with me just doing my own thing. And it's like, we do have to take a certain amount of accountability. Like, I think people in my generation, we have gotten used to being alone, and some people are comfortable being alone. So, and it's nice, especially when you're trying to focus on yourself, when you're trying to fix your circumstances. Sometimes you need to be alone, but you have to be honest with yourself. It's like, all right, I should start, looking around again. What I said earlier is true. There is truth.
And that's where I'm at right now. Like, I've been alone for a minute. I don't mind being alone. I really don't. It gets lonely, of course. Like, that's a no-brainer. But I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with who I am and who I'm becoming as a man. And if I have to go alone for another couple of years, I wouldn't mind that because I know that it would just, progress me further to my goals. But right now, like I am in the stage of like, I don't mind looking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be nice to have somebody. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not the type to like just have a roster and just a bunch of girls to talk to. I'm way too busy for that. And frankly, like I don't got the social battery to do all that shit. But I wouldn't mind having, somebody to be with. And ideally, like I would prefer that to have, a woman by my side. That's where I'm at right now.
The internet has provided women like with a crazy amount of potential jesters, which obviously is going to raise ego, raise standards. But I think it's also provided men with like a cop out. Like it doesn't really matter how broke, fat, and ugly or bald that you are. Like there is a woman out there that would love you, but you just think that
Right.
she's beat. You know what I mean? And like this isn't blue pill, whatever. Like this is reality. Like if you go outside, you will see girls walking around with bozos. The internet does a great job in convincing people that if you aren't in this top 1%, you shouldn't even try. And I just think that's garbage. Like, I think a lot of dudes let that mindset wreck their confidence. And I think there's been
Yeah.
times where I've actually believe that and let it wreck my own confidence. And that's the worst part is that's the actual thing that will make dating impossible for anyone is low confidence, right? There's heads out here that hate themselves and want a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're saying, it's clipped because I'm only this tall or I'm chopped because of this and I'll never be able to, it's like, then you will give off that energy and then it will actually be clipped for you. This is something that I've learned by going outside, by the way, by not from the internet. So don't underestimate the power of basic social skills and even false confidence. And I'm not gonna sit here and just be like,
Dude, just be confident. Like, just be yourself.
because the truth is, like, no, you have to be more than that in this world. Like the dating apps, the dating world that we're in right now. Like, there's a reason so many dudes are pissed off about this. I mean, like I said, standards were raised quickly. At the same time, at the end of the day, we are
Mhm.
all jesters. You know what I mean? And it's like the jester who can hold good conversation, hold eye contact, has a better chance than the jester who's convinced that, if he was 2 inches taller, then he'd be winning right now. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like my ass has the solutions to these massive, like, societal problems, but most of what I talked about just now like is a direct result of the internet. If we all collectively spent less time on the internet, things would work themselves out, but obviously that's not going to happen, right? So you have to take it into your own hands. For a lot of guys, the constant comparison, the constant rejection that happens online lowers confidence. And for a lot of women, I think the constant attention, the endless options can inflate confidence. Like there's a reason that
Yeah.
this picture went viral, where the male character is a clown, the female character is a queen. It's good she's a queen, but I just think we got to be kings out here, and that sounds so cringe. I can't believe I just said that, but hold yourself to these higher standards, bro. It's like, yeah, the standards are higher now. What are you gonna bitch about it, or are you gonna be better? And I think for me at least, like all I'm doing here is sharing my perspective. When I spend less time and energy in this online world, whether that's with dating or social media, whatever,
Mhm.
and I go out of my way to put myself in situations in real life, meet real people, it just seems healthier. Like I just have better experiences when I do that. Don't let someone on the internet tell you that you're a loser. It sounds like kind of soft, but if you look up self-compassion and what it does, like it physically changes your brain. It lowers
Yeah.
cortisol, relaxes your nervous system. Like how you view yourself is important. And as a guy, this whole
Self
jester thing,
confidence
how do
is
you think
very important.
prolonged gesturing translates? So yeah, if you're struggling with dating right now, it's not because you're a loser. And even if it is, if you tell yourself that, you're making it harder. There are bigger things at viral, where the male character is a clown, the female character is a queen. It's good she's a queen, but I just think we got to be kings out here, and that sounds so cringe. I can't believe I just said that, but hold yourself to these higher standards, bro. It's like, yeah, the standards are higher now. What are you gonna bitch about it, or are you gonna be better. And I think for me at least, like all I'm doing here is sharing my perspective. When I spend less, like it physically changes your brain, yourself.
Just wanted y'all to see the
And as a
GIF.
guy, this whole jester thing, how do you think prolonged gesturing translates? So yeah, if you're struggling with dating right now, it's not because you're a loser. And even if it is, if you tell yourself that, you're making it harder. There are bigger things at play that will punish you if you let them. So don't. And that's it. Peace.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. But yeah, chat. When it comes to dating, man, listen. Do not let that be your main thing that you're focusing on. We have better things to attend to. You know what I'm trying to say?